Kong, Skull Island, the sort of sequel to Godzilla. It's not a direct sequel, obviously it's its own Kong movie, but it's set in the same universe, and they're gonna fight in 2020, so can't wait for that. Which is interesting because they're polar opposites as movies. While the 2014 Godzilla had very little to no Godzilla up until the very end, when they finally had this huge payoff and huge battle with him, Kong Skull Island holds nothing back. Maybe some of the creatures are held back until the end, but that's not what you're here for. You're here for Kong, and you're gonna see him a lot.
These are photos of an island in the South Pacific.
The place where myth and science meet.
We use explosives to shake the earth, helping us to map the surface of the island.
They're dropping bombs. Scientific instruments.
Is that a monkey?
Shows up within the first couple minutes of the movie and starts wrecking things. Okay, not first couple, but like after they get to the island, that's like one of the first things that happens is Kong shows up, and you get this big action sequence with him, and the helicopters are being taken down, and it's really quite impressive. His CGI is really good. All the CGI in this movie is fantastic, but it seems like they learned from Godzilla and a lot of the complaints about Godzilla not being in the movie enough, and they put Kong in the movie plenty. That's not to say he's in it all the time, but you feel his presence even when he's not in it because he's like the king of the island, and you can feel that there's something out there, like there's tension. And the moments when he is on screen, it feels really cool, and there's a lot of cool action. That's one of the better parts of this movie, is the action. Not just with Kong, but with a bunch of the other creatures they discover, and even some of the characters. There's some pretty cool stuff they do with like the 70s weapons, the flamethrowers, and the, what's it called? Napalm, that's it, napalm. Yeah, they do some really cool stuff with that in the movie, and I like seeing the old technology. This movie has a really old-timey vibe to it. It feels like a 70s movie, except the CGI is phenomenal for a 70s movie.
Magnificent.
You knew that thing was out here?
I'm sorry for your men, Colonel. But if you want to make their sacrifice worthwhile, hit us home with proof. Monsters exist.
One thing that this movie catches a lot of backlash for is the characters not being fully developed, and I kind of see where they're coming from. But besides the point, I actually felt kind of connected to these characters. I liked them, I had a good time with them. Tom Hiddleston's the badass guy, Jason Mitchell's the funny guy, Brie Larson's the girl that King Kong ultimately falls in love with. John C. Reilly's the guy who's been stuck on the island for years, and Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson. Speaking of Samuel L. Jackson, he's the best part of this movie. He's the best Samuel L. Jackson I've seen in a long time. He's really been phoning it in a lot of movies recently, it seems like, just to get a paycheck. But in this one, you can just feel his emotion in his eyes, and it's really good. I love it. I love seeing him like this. The other thing that really works for these characters is the environment they're put in. It feels like they could die at any moment, because there's always these creatures and these cool things out there, and
that's my review on why Transformers 4 is the greatest movie of all time.
What the heck? What is happening here?
Steele, I gotta stop you right there in your review. I'm sorry I interrupted there, but I just had to say this. The characters in Kong are not just a little weak. They are spectacularly weak. Many of the characters, like Tom Hiddleston's characters, don't even get a proper introduction. They basically just show him in a bar fighting, and we're supposed to believe he's this massive war hero? You know, some movies often, you know, when they're good, of course, tend to introduce the characters so we actually understand their motives and understand where they're coming from, you know, as movies do. But apparently not Kong Skull Island. Some of the standout characters, Samuel L. Jackson, definitely for sure, Steele, I agree with this pick. Samuel L. Jackson has been phoning in his roles lately, and I think he actually did a great job in this movie. He was one of the only characters that I understood his motive and why he wanted to go to this island. There's this scene where he gets a phone call from the person dispatching him to this island, and you can see it in Samuel L. Jackson's eyes that the war is the only thing he has left in his life. Another standout character is John C. Reilly's character. He was definitely the only funny part to this movie. All the laugh-out moments that my entire theater was laughing when John C. Reilly was on screen. that's usually a good sign, and when they're not laughing with every other attempt at a joke throughout the movie, that's usually not a good sign.
Your friend there can put that down. What the hell is this place? That's Kong. He's king around here. Kong's a pretty good king. Keeps to himself mostly. Well, you don't go into someone's house and start dropping bombs unless you're picking a fight.
Most of the characters in this movie, you can see them and you are like, right at the beginning, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Right when I saw the trailer for this movie, I knew what it was going to be. I walked into this movie and I was like, I know how it starts and I know how it ends, and how it gets there, it really doesn't matter. Steele, I can agree with you on the CGI. The CGI in this movie was fantastic, as you see Kong in these awesome set pieces taking down helicopters or other monsters. Just the CGI is beautiful and it's amazing to look at. I also enjoyed the style of this movie, as it kind of gave a 1970s vibe with its music, setting, and really overall tone of the movie. Kong Skull Island for me is honestly a mixed bag. If you go into this movie with no expectations whatsoever, you're going to enjoy yourself much like I did. Turn off your brain, just have a fun time. If you're looking for an actual movie that's going to, break the barriers of cinema, this is not the movie theater for you. Kong Skull Island, a slightly above average movie.
Oh, jeez, we're back. Okay, guess I can finish the review now. So anyways, Kong Skull Island, I think, is a very good movie. It's not perfect, for sure. It kind of feels like a bit of a filler between Godzilla and King Kong versus Godzilla in 2020. But ultimately, it is a cool movie, and there's a cool end credit scene that I think you should stick around for. But yeah, that's been my thoughts. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, or even dislike. All attention is good attention. And as always, steal the show.